Well, during that break, we said a decade of the Rosary, so hopefully we've got a better line now to Father Marius O'Reilly in Cork. Marius, good morning.
Good morning, Tommy. Thanks very much, and sorry about that.
No
and I
problem.
was praying for Mayo for Sam.
That might take more than one decade of the Rosary, trust me. You know, the tradition has, it's fair to say, more or less died out of the Rosary being said in the home, hasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose, as you said, there was a great tradition in Ireland. Most of us, our parents, grandparents, would have grown up in homes where the Rosary was prayed every evening. And such a great tradition, and people got a lot of comfort out of it. And I suppose people's lives are busier now and a lot of things going on. But there seems to be a little bit of a kind of a re-emergence of the Rosary. And the Rosary Rally, which will take place on Saturday in Knock, has been going for over 30 years now, but in recent years it has really started to grow. There were over 10,000 there last year, 7,000 the year before, and so it seems to be growing year on year. And I suppose people coming to pray for peace themselves and peace in their families and their homes, and but also peace in the world. We live in a more volatile world now, I suppose, and people are very conscious of that too. And the tradition of a Rosary Rally, I suppose, hailed from Attimass in County Mayo, from someone there. Many of your listeners may have heard of Father Patrick Peyton.
Yes.
Who was a priest who, he tried to become a priest in Ireland and things didn't work out. He tried 3 different orders. So he went to the States to make his millions, like many others. And it was there that the call to the priesthood kept coming to him, and he joined the Holy Cross Order. And he started, he was very sick with tuberculosis, and a doctor said to him, listen, you have 2 choices. You can either pray or we can give you an operation, but it's unlikely to be successful. So there was an Irish priest who said to him, turn to the Rosary, turn to Our Lady and ask for her intercession. And so he felt he was cured, and he dedicated the rest of his life then to promoting the Rosary.
Yeah, in fact, he was known as the Rosary Priest, and of course we have the Father Peyton Centre in Attimass now.
In Attimass, yeah, and I'd recommend people to go. It's a lovely, lovely place to go and visit. But what was extraordinary about him was, I suppose, he started off with, he had made this amazing connection with Hollywood. And so he had a radio show like yourself, and he had on Bing Crosby and Maureen O'Hara and all the top stars, and he started to make films. He had James Dean involved, and people just really backed him, and he became almost like a chaplain to the stars in Hollywood. And then he began this Rosary Rally crusade, as it was called, particularly to promote family prayer. And he famously said, the family that prays together stays together. Yeah. Or another great one of his was, a world at prayer is a world at peace. So these Rosary Rallies really began to take off, and some of them were as big, Tommy, as 2 million people, in Manila, in the Philippines, and also in Sao Paulo, in Brazil. They were absolutely huge. Others were, hundreds of thousands of people. But it is said that he spoke in front of 35 to 40 million people live. And I don't think there's many other human beings who have spoken to that many people live, like Father Peyton. It's an extraordinary story, yeah.
So Saturday, there's a lot happening in Knock as part of the Rosary Rally. There's a conference. There's also a Rosary and Scapular making workshop. And then there's big stations of the Cross and Mass in the Basilica at 3. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So there's a lot going on, and it's kind of like a family day as well. And one of the things we're most excited about is we're trying to make Ireland's first ever living rosary. So a rosary beads made up of people, over 200 people will participate wearing white T-shirts, etc. And there'll be a drone videoing it from above, and it'll be hopefully Ireland's first ever living rosary. So lots of little things like that, and for things for children to get involved in as well. As you said, there's a conference in the morning at 9:30 in St. John's Centre. Then there's different faith groups from around the country meeting people at 11:30 in St. John's Centre. And then we're bringing over from Miami a special speaker, a sister called Mother Adela Galindo, who'll be very well renowned in the United States. She's coming to speak in the Basilica at 1. Then the Stations of the Cross outside at 2. And then the Rosary Procession itself at 2:30 outside. And then, as you said, the Mass, which will be celebrated. The chief celebrant is Bishop Fonzie Cullinan from the Diocese of Waterford and Lismore. And there's also the opportunity at that Mass for people to receive the sacrament of the sick. If someone is very unwell at this time, they may find comfort in that, Tommy.
Okay, very good. So that's on Saturday over at the Shrine in Knock.
Yeah.
It's the annual Rosary Rally, starting with that conference in the St. John Rest Centre at 9:30. But just for the benefit of people who maybe want to take in the Mass is at 3 in the Basilica.
3 o'clock, yeah.
3 o'clock. Marius, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for your time.
Not at all. Take care.
God bless all your listeners. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That's Father Marius O'Reilly, who, by the way, is a curate based down in County Cork, one of the organisers of the Rosary Rally in Knock Shrine this Saturday. Two things I want to tell you about that are happening. One is this morning, actually, the Western Care Association Knock Hub. They're celebrating the opening of their new community garden this morning at 11:30. It's based actually at the Kilshamon Knock United soccer pitch. And it's a wonderful garden. It has been developed at the club grounds there. And there's an open invitation for everybody this morning to head out to that pitch at 11:30 this morning for the official opening. They're having an open day and official opening of their new garden there. And the late Karen Campbell of Shanna Moyle will also be remembered this morning as part of that service. So that's on at 11:30 this morning at the soccer grounds of Kilshamon Knock United. And this evening, for listeners in Killala, now this is really important. We spoke when we were down in Killala a few weeks ago to Jarlath Munley and others about the Killala Town Centre First Plan. And I've been asked to mention that an information sharing evening is happening upstairs in the Killala Community Centre this evening. It starts at 6 and it runs until 8 o'clock. And what's happening there is that abridged versions of this Killala Town Centre First Plan are going to be on display so that the people of Killala can see what the plans for the town centre are. And they're going to be looking for contributions and feedback on the plan. It's a drop-in event. You don't have to be there from 6. You can drop in any time between 6 and 8 this evening. Or if you can't get along, if you go on to mayo.ie/community town centre first, you will be able to see the full plan online. But if you can attend any time between 6 and 8 this evening, you'll be more than welcome. Time check on Midwest, it's 29 minutes to 11.